Friday, Parx Casino is hosting CFFC 76, and it is headlined by my man Shorty Rock. I love watching Sean Santella in the cage, and Andre Barquero, who I think will be – this one is going to be phenomenal. And Andre was a guy we saw a couple of cards ago, and Sean as well. But I don't know that you're going to get two more exciting flyweights than that in this division. It should be unbelievable. Friday night, Parx, UFC Fight Pass. Get your tickets on sale at CFFC.tv. The flyweight title, but another tremendous card. And looking forward to it, which, by the way, Rob Haydak, the president of CFFC, joins me now on the Boardwalk Honda hotline. He just got to see some of his fights out there in Coachella a couple of weeks ago. So this is like back-to-back-to-back cards for you. We were just at Hard Rock, it seemed, the other day. That was like a month and a half ago, then Coachella, and now Parx Friday night. What's up, man?
How you doing, Mike? Yeah, we're firing on all cylinders, man. We're ready to go for this weekend.
I got to tell you, you'll get a laugh out of this. So yesterday, I took my pants to get shortened. So when you see me tomorrow or Friday night, my pants are going to be looking nice for you.
Fantastic. CM will be impressed.
I brought him into the tailor. I said, yo, I need these pants fixed because Rob Haydak and CM Punk were making fun of my pants, which you don't even see on TV. But, I got to get my pants looking like you skinny guys.
I think you have me confused with Dave Schaller. I would never make fun of you.
All right, the card, Shorty Rock's at the top of that card, and we saw him at Hard Rock a couple of cards ago. And Andre, I think this is going to be fast, furious. I don't know, man. This could be quick. It could go the distance. I'm very intrigued by what you guys put at the top of this card.
Yeah, this is a great fight. Sean Santella, a veteran of the sport, outside the UFC, one of the top prospects in the world, is fighting a young, hungry Andre Barquero from Costa Rica who has fought for us before in Atlantic City. Again, another top flyweight prospect. Both world-class grapplers. This should be a great fight.
Also, this is one of the cards that is very mixed. You got 125, the flyweight. You got 170, 185. You got the ladies. So it's got a mix of everything on here. Give us a little background on some of these fights that are, so different in terms of the weight classes. Like I said, we're going from 125 up to 185. You got the ladies in there. So Jamie Colleen, she fought at Borgata a couple of, back in December. So there's some familiar names. There's some newcomers. But I think it's a very diverse card that tells a phenomenal story for somebody who wants to get out there Friday night and see a bunch of different action.
Yeah, great point, Mike. Looking at this card, if you're an MMA fan, it has something for everybody. We have two high-level female fights on the card. You mentioned Jamie Colleen. She has fought in the UFC before. Really just a top athlete here in the Philadelphia area, fighting a very game opponent coming in from Brazil. You've got Erin Blanchfield on this card as well. She's an EBI champion at age 17, making her return to CFFC. Co-main event, as you mentioned, we've got a welterweight bout between Jeremiah Wells out of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, fighting Day Ali. Again, two top welterweight prospects. Just absolutely solid card once again from top to bottom.
Yeah, and you mentioned Day Ali and Wells, and these are young guys in the very new guys. But I got to ask you about all these guys when they come to put pen to paper to fight for CFFC, how excited they are to see so many of the alums moving on to the UFC and recent alums. It's like Sean Brady just fought, moves on. You see so many guys who are recently fighting in your cage now moving up to UFC. I got to imagine people are really, pardon the pun, fist fighting to try to get pen to paper to fight for CFFC now.
Yeah, it's great when you see athletes move on from CFFC and go on to UFC. Just this past weekend's UFC card, you had three of our alumni on that card alone. The week before, you had Anthony Smith, #1 contender in the world at 185 pounds, at 205, win against Gustafsson over in Sweden. He's now the number one prospect. So anytime you see CFFC alumni doing well at the next level, it's a feather in our cap. And as you pointed out, if you're a prospect in MMA and you're looking to get to the next level, there's no better place to do that than CFFC.
And Miranda Granger, who was in Borgata back in December, believes that she's getting a call up to the Contender Series after winning out in Coachella, 2 weeks ago?
Yep, the phone is ringing, so we're waiting to see if that materializes, but they definitely have their eyes on her, and they're going to definitely have their eyes on a lot of these fights this weekend.
You mentioned Anthony Smith. He was on with us right before he fought John Jones, and now Gustafsson Jones was two tremendous fights, and then Smith beats Gustafsson last week. I'm wondering what's next for him. That should be interesting in the entire. When you look at the landscape of the MMA world, a guy that came from your organization, worked his way up, got to the top of the ladder, fell down, beats Gustafsson. I'm very intrigued where a guy like that goes, and that's why these stories are so intriguing with all of these guys. Watching a guy like that, kind of work his way all the way from where you were up to the top. Bang! I find his story to be so intriguing.
Yeah, no question about it. Look at this past weekend's UFC fight card. In the very near future, it's very likely you're going to have three former CFFC champions fighting for the UFC belt. Obviously, the one that you just mentioned, Anthony Smith. In addition to that, you have Aljamain Sterling, who had a huge win this past weekend, and he's in line for a title shot against Henry Cejudo, who won his bout. In addition to that, you also have Caitlin Chukagian, our former female champion, just had another huge win this weekend, and she's in line for a title fight. So, again, it's exciting when you see athletes that came through the organization move on to the next level and continue to have success.
You can see them Friday night at Parx in Philly, CFFC 76. If you can't get there, by the way, tickets are on sale at CFFC.tv. I know the tickets are going very well. I was talking to Dave the other day. It's a great venue at the Excite Center up there. Not that far away. It's like an hour from our studios right here. UFC Fight Pass. I'll have the call with CM Punk. And by the way, you talk about your last card here at the Hard Rock, too, a guy like Pat Sabatini. I mean, that was one of the best fights that I got a chance to call. That fight was such an entertaining fight, and it shows that you never know what's going to get pulled out, because that card at the Hard Rock was phenomenal. There was so much action, so many unbelievable finishes. That night might have been one of the most diverse finishes. We saw finishes from almost every way you can think of in that Hard Rock card.
Yeah, no doubt about it, and I have a feeling this Friday night at Parx is going to be no different. All of these fights and all of these matchups are exciting. If you're an MMA fan, you've got to get out there and watch this one. Yeah,
I tell you what, I'm looking forward to get back in the saddle, and there's a lot of action coming up this summer. You could go to CFFC.tv for more on the schedule, the champions, the schedule of fights, the tickets, and Sean Santella at the top, the main event, Andre Barco, and, of course, that is at 125 for the flyweights, and we're looking forward to that. And, quite frankly, this summer, going to be back hopefully in Atlantic City here, so all the people listening, you got multiple opportunities to check out CFFC. And take out the main events, the co-main events. Which fight is number one on your list?
Oof. I really am intrigued to see John Arce in his MMA debut. He's an undefeated amateur. There's a lot of hype around him. He's kicking off our main card. That's going to be a really intriguing matchup. He's fighting a gentleman who's had 13 amateur fights, both making their pro debuts, and those always tend to be very, very exciting. And also both female bouts on the card. Female fights historically have always stole the show at CFFC, and I have a feeling that could well happen again.
And by the way, the finish, Jessica Ai, I mean, the way that fight finished the other night, it's only happened a handful of times in the history of USC. That head kick was unbelievable.
Oh, that was unbelievable, to say the least.
Yeah, and so you're right. I mean, those fights, always plenty of action. I'll tell you what, the fight, the Mama's boy, his name is slipping me, but the fight in Hard Rock the other night, that guy, I mean, it was back and forth, and in fact, we're in the middle.
Karate.
Say again? Yes, Joey Perotti.
Joey
Yeah.
Perotti.
Yes.
Yep.
So we're literally doing the play-by-play, and Punk and I are going back and forth about you're going to have to do a lot to get this guy off his feet. The other guy, he had never been boom at that moment. The knockout blow, that video from UFC Fight Pass was all over the place about how vicious of a knockout that was. It made me think of that Jessica I kicked the other way the other night. When I saw her get kicked in the head like that, I thought immediately of that punch he threw that knocked the guy to the canvas like that. It was unbelievable. That's the kind of action we're expecting Friday night at Parx. Rob Haydak is the president of CFFC. Get your tickets for CFFC 76 at CFFC.tv, and come see us at Parx at the Excite Center this Friday night. And if you can't be there, UFC Fight Pass. Rob, I will see you with a fresh pair of pants, man.
Can't wait.
All right, pal. Rob Haydak, everybody, the president of CFFC here on the Sports Bash 97.3 ESPN. As he mentioned, Sean Chantella at the top of the card, Jeremiah Wells in the co-main event, Jamie Colleen, I've seen her fight. She actually fought Miranda Granger, who just got called up to the Contender Series show.